beta for Sim Update 4 has just dropped a new update for Flight Sim 2024. And it comes with major performance fixes that could finally give us the smooth, stutter-free experience we've been chasing for years. But we've heard these promises before, so today I'm putting the promises to the ultimate test. I'm pairing it up with my RTX 4080 and my Pimax Crystal Light to answer one simple question. Is VR in Flight Sim finally fixed? Before we get airborne, let's talk about the setup. For total transparency, so you can make sense of these results, you need to know the hardware I'm using. For the flights that you're seeing today, I'm using somewhat of a mid to high-end rig. The computer I'm using right now has an i7 14700K with 32 gigs of RAM and a 4080 Super, which has 16 gigs of VRAM, which is perfect for running the Pimax Crystal Light. So our test today is really simple. I wanted to exclude as many factors as I could from any kind of performance gain or loss between different versions, so I've pre-recorded the flight using Flight Recorder. But in each of the simulators, we're using the same time, same weather, same aircraft, same location, just to keep the test fair and simple. So with that out of the way, let's jump straight to it. Alright, so here we are in 2024. On the left hand side, you can see we've got Sim Update 3, and on the right hand side is the latest beta build of Sim Update 4. Now, this is the non-VR test. I just want to get a benchmark of what the performance difference is before we jump into VR. Now, for those who are wondering, there is a slight performance increase for non-VR users. I'm seeing about 4 to 5 FPS in improvement, but the major difference is there's a lot less stutters. But enough of this, let's jump straight into VR and see the real difference. Now, this is where the real magic happens. On the left, again, Sim Update 3, and on the right, Sim Update 4. You'll have to forgive me, recording VR side by side is very hard, so I'll only look at it side by side for a moment here. Now, the performance jump is absolutely ginormous. Sim Update 3, we'd see lows of FPS around 14, highs of 34, and an average somewhere between 24 and 32 FPS. Now on Sim Update 4, I'm seeing consistently higher frame rates, anywhere from 7 FPS all the way up to 14 FPS higher than Sim Update 3. Not only that, it is far more stable, less stuttering, it is butter smooth. There are still a small hiccup here and there, but just remember, both of these are running on the Ultra preset. This has got to be single-handedly the biggest performance upgrade I've seen in 2024, specifically for VR. And even better, not just the performance has been upgraded, there's a lot of quality of life fixes that have been implemented. For example, for content creators, now we can just film the screen. Before, we'd either have to capture the screen inside the headset using OpenXR, or you'd have to just zoom in on the left eye, or whatever your choice was. Now Flight Sim natively supports it by just projecting the raw image on your screen, which means it's less compressed, you don't have to zoom in on the left or right eye, it's just so much better. So what exactly did this beta update bring us? The release notes point to some serious work. First, major VRAM optimization. This should help the sim stop choking around those larger airports and cities. Second, smarter CPU main thread allocation. In theory, this means the sim should use our CPU cores more efficiently, which has been a major issue in 2020 and 2024. Multi-threaded CPUs have always been supported, but they never really utilize them very well. And now we're finally starting to see all our cores be utilized. But probably the most exciting upgrade in terms of VR is Foveated rendering. While we've had it in the sim since Sim Update 3, it's been a bit broken. But now it's been fixed up, and we also see a foveated rendering scale, which is huge. And for those who don't understand what that means, foveated rendering is essentially keeping the center of the display crystal clear while the rest of the display is not as optimized. When you're not looking at it, it doesn't really matter as much, which means it can be blurred out somewhat, and that saves a ton of performance, meaning you can push your headset even further with higher settings. And Sim Update 4 introduced a new scale setting, giving us direct control over its intensity. This is what I'm really here to see. Better performance without a big visual hit. And in the video today, you can see that I've got the foveated rendering scale set to 50, and genuinely the performance is mind-blowing. which is amazing to see because for the longest time I've had to step away from VR because the performance just wasn't there. And the compromises you had to make to get a good VR experience just wasn't worth it for me. I couldn't afford to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a computer. And then I was blown away by the Pimax's performance. One of the amazing things they have is their software. It is so powerful. On top of having great headsets, the quad views and foveated rendering in the app is amazing at squeezing out even more performance. Now couple this with the latest update, it's unbeatable. Never in my days would I think I'd be able to run VR in an ultra preset and actually get the achieved frame rate for VR. It is just mind-blowing. But let's talk about the future. And like I said in a couple of my previous videos, 2024 is finally becoming stable, at least as stable as it should be on launch. But here's the thing, what's so exciting about these improvements in Sim Update 4 is what they're a signal for, the future. This isn't just a patch, it's laying down the groundwork for what's to come in for 2024. And things are getting very exciting for VR. We all know that Asobo's bringing Flight Sim 2024 to the PS5, and with that came support for PSVR 2 support, somewhere in 2026. But this is a huge deal for us on PC as well. Why? Because console VR requires an incredible level of optimization to run smoothly on fixed hardware. And the work they need to do to get it running beautifully on the PSVR 2 will inadvertently benefit the PC version. And we'll likely see heavy optimization of foveated rendering and more quality life add-ons for VR as well, which is a thing that I've been lacking with Flight Sim lately, especially with 2024. We've seen patch after patch fixing things that have even been broken in old updates or just getting up to standard, but we haven't really seen any new features get added, other than foveated rendering, which begs the question what we'll see in the future. We know that they've been planning to do shared cockpit for such a long time, and it might be something we see finally come to 2024. But could you imagine the day when you put on VR in a shared cockpit and you can see your other mate across the flight deck as they move around? That would just be insane. But I think moving forward, the biggest thing is I really want to see sim updates where innovation actually comes in. I don't want to see another patch where they've just fixed something they broke in the last update or they're just getting the sim up to standard. I want to see something new, something that's really different, but we'll just have to wait and see what the future holds. This update feels like a major step in that direction. We're moving from an era of constantly building the sim's limitations to one where we can finally enjoy the immersion. The future of VR in flight simulation looks brighter and smoother than ever. But hey, this is just what I found on my system. The real story is how it's working for all of you. This is where I need your help. Jump down to the comments and let me know how Sim Update 4 is running for you. Let me know your specs if you can and what headset you're flying in, and let me know if you're seeing the same kind of improvements. If this breakdown was helpful, do me a favour, hit that like button and get subscribed for more deep dives in flight sim just like this. All the gear I used today, including the Pimax Crystal Light along with my PC specs, is linked down in the description below. And also don't forget to join the Discord. But as always guys, until next time, I'll catch you then.